how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. I'm laying here relaxing right now.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, you are now a Hall of Fame member. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Yeah. So with the Bluegrass Revival, you were, of course, one of the founding members.
Right.
And we've talked about, the leading up to the Bluegrass Revival privately many times, and how you all played in Bluegrass Alliance, you and Sam.
Yeah.
And so, just tell me a little bit about how that started out.
Well, the Bluegrass Alliance started with when I met. Well, the idea was sort of in my head. I had met Dan Crary. We were both out looking for instruments and stuff, or kind of as a hobby, I guess. And I was learning to play 5-string banjo. I hadn't gotten very far with it at that point, but Dan and I met through instrument repairman here in town.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Hale, I believe his name was. He worked for Shackleton Music.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of introduced Dan and I. Dan was going to the seminary here, and Baptist Seminary, and working as a disc jockey on WINN, a country music station here in Louisville.
Okay.
And I was working over at the YMCA as the executive housekeeper, which was right across the street from where he worked.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easy for us to get together and talk. And I'd go over and we'd go over and spend time. Dan knew some stuff about the banjo, and he wrote some stuff, tabular and things out for me.
Okay.
And I don't know, one thing or another. Well, we talked about maybe playing some or something. And, one afternoon, a salesman there, Roger Rubio, at the station, came in and told Dan that there was a new bar that was getting ready to open up here in Louisville, and they wanted a bluegrass band. Dan told me about it, and I said, well, why don't we put something together and see if we can't get the job?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a week or so, I think, I don't know, a couple of weeks to get something together. I don't remember, I guess talked to Lonnie Pierce and Buddy Spurlock, and a fellow by the name of Russell Ward, who was a mandolin player, but he was working for L&N. And he'd been there like 25 years or something, and he played mandolin, but he was losing his hearing to start with, and he had too much seniority in it at L&N to try to get into a band. And he said he'd work with us and help us get together an audition. So we started working. We had a couple of weeks. We put together enough music and to do an audition, and figured if we could get through, if we could get a 45-minute or hours worth of music together, we could get the rest of it together in the time we had before the place opened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we did. We got together and practiced some, and I had to learn the bass. It was the only instrument left.
Oh yeah, you had to learn.
I had to learn to play bass. I didn't know anything about it. I borrowed a bass from Tom Hale. Told him, I said, I'll buy it from you if we get the job.
Yeah.
And he had a K bass there that I got from him, and Dan helped me mark the marks on the side of the neck with tape, so I knew where the frets would be, where I could get the notes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I only used the first 3 strings, and I left the E string loose when I first started. Let it slap, and anyhow, after that, I learned enough about it, got it all tuned up, and learned to play the tunes that we had to. I learned to play on stage.
Yeah, no pressure.
Right, I mean, we played on stage and practiced during the week. Got in, an hour or so practice during the week every week on some new tunes.
Yeah.
And
Let me ask you just briefly about the other members. So Buddy Spurlock, he was the banjo player.
Right.
Do you remember anything of his background or anything?
Well, he'd been playing for a long time. Buddy was a good banjo player. He had a light hand, I guess, and he was a fan of Don Reno, and he played a lot of that type of banjo.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he had a nice master tone.
Has he played in other bands like we would have known or heard about?
Buddy? Yeah. I have no idea where Buddy played. I'm sure he had played with other groups and stuff before that, but I don't know who. There were no real bands around Louisville.
Right.
He was a really good banjo player.
Yeah. He played on let's see now. He did on Crary's solo album.
Yeah, it was. We were all on Crary. I guess we were all on Crary solo album.
Yeah, that's right. That was like the Bluegrass Alliance, essentially.
Yeah. So I see Russell Ward. Like I said, he was a musician, been around a long time, but he was losing his hearing. He had to hold his mandolin up to his ear. Just put the mandolin right up against his ear so he could hear it through the vibration.
Yeah.
And he was only with us long enough to get the job, and I think what we did, that's when we got a hold of, well, let's see, the first mandolin player after him was
it Danny?
No, Danny was a second mandolin player, Wayne Stewart.
Okay.
Wayne Stewart. He went by the name of Mason Richards.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. He wanted to have a stage name, and anyhow, Wayne Stewart, he was a friend of Sam's.
Wasn't Wayne involved in the recording of Sam's album with?
He may have been.
Poor Richards on that.
He may have been. I know that mainly that was Sam and Alan Mundy.
Yeah.
Wayne may have been.
I think he played guitar.
I was going to say he'd be playing guitar if he was.
Yeah.
And let's see, he came in to the band to start off. Dan was the MC, and Wayne and Dan did the singing. Lonnie was a good tenor, so I don't think he ever sang lead with the band.
Yeah. What had Lonnie done before? Or up to this point?
Lonnie was an old-time fiddle player, and he'd been playing for years and years. Lonnie was a showman.
Yeah.
And he could sing a good tenor,
right.
Pretty decent tenor.
Mm-hmm.
So, he was an integral part of the band. I mean, he'd get up there and jump around, dance around, or do a jig on the stage or something.
Yeah, he hadn't been to the Kenny Baker School of Stage Manners.
No. He was, like I say, he was an old time fiddle player. He was from down around let's see, down there around Bowling Green and
okay,
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
He knew Sam well. He knew he was a friend of Sam's dad, and he was instrumental, I guess, in helping us get Sam. Sam came into the band when Dan Crary decided he was moving to Kansas City and going to school out there, he and his wife.
Okay.
And we brought Sam in to play guitar in Dan's place. And he played guitar until we found Tony down in Camp Springs.
Yeah, that's Tony Rice you're talking about.
Right. And we hired Tony there and brought him to Louisville. Mm-hmm. Sam switched over to mandolin right away, and Tony took over the guitar. Mm-hmm. And Lonnie was still playing fiddle, and I was still playing bass.
Right.
Dan was the MC, and when he left, I took over the MC work for the band. Mm-hmm. And up to that time, I
bet you were a good MC, though.
Well, I guess I got some accolades for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk. You talk good.
There was a fella came to me one time. One of the best compliments I ever got was a fella came to me at a festival. I guess it was the Country Gentlemen's Festival up in
in Massachusetts. Yeah.
And this young black fella, I guess he's about 18 at the time.
Yeah.
I came up to him backstage. He was a mandolin player.
Yeah, I know him well.
And I can't remember his name now, but I've got
Richie Brown. Richie.
Yeah, he's a dentist too, I think, isn't he?
Yes, and he teaches at the Harvard School of Dentistry. He's got many hats, He's a great mandolin player and the professor at Harvard. And then,
all right, well, I'll always remember him. I liked him from the start.
Yeah, we're going to get the two of you together. You can talk about this event. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. But
yeah.
So what did he say? You remember what he said?
Yeah, he said, I just wanted to come back and tell you. He said, I really like the way you talk to us, because he said, I felt like you were talking to me the whole time. And I told him, I said, well, I was. I'm talking to everybody out there. And it's a personal thing when you're up there like that. And or it was for me, I was talking to everybody out there individually, not just a big, massive crowd. I was trying to be personal with it. The music's very personal.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to make it. It had to be, our stage presence and our stage show had to be good.
Yeah.
We had played for, I don't know, about 18 months, I think, all told, at the Red Dog Saloon here in Louisville, which was the saloon. That was the first job. That's where we started out. Yeah. And we played 4 and 5 nights a week through all that. So we got a lot of practice and a lot of stage work, and everybody was pretty professional about it.
Yeah.
And people thought, well, I heard people say that they thought we'd been together for 20 years or something.
Yeah. Well, being on stage and then having all that talent too, that's.
Well, yeah, and it was a fun thing going on there, and anyhow, that's the way it went. And then finally, I think I can't remember now exactly what the place was. It was a big show. We did this show. It was a big concert place. I think it was an outdoor concert place. Some kind of farms up there around Washington, D.C. We played this show up there, and that's when Tony quit. He told us he was going. I didn't have the slightest idea that Tony was leaving. I wasn't paying much attention to what I never paid attention to what people were doing. I mean, everybody got around to the, we were all together at the festivals. We traveled together. We basically lived together.
Yeah.
At various times, and I didn't know that Tony was looking to go, but I knew when he came to Louisville, one of the things he really wanted to do was he wanted to play with J.D. Crowe, because his brother Larry was playing mandolin with J.D.
Right.
So all of a sudden it became known to me that Tony was leaving us, and I was told that it was because he was having problems with Lonnie. And I only have people's word for that, and I assume he was. Lonnie was pretty overbearing in some cases, and
yeah,
he created the situation where we left him. We had this band, and he was trying to be Sam's father on the road and tell Sam what to do, and here Sam was 18, 19, 20 years old, and he was married. And he wasn't, he was becoming his own man. He wasn't looking for a second father there in Lonnie.
No.
So anyway, I think it was the same year that it been the same year that Tony left, and probably I guess 71 or 2, something like that. 72 maybe. We were down in Nashville at the TJ convention.
Right.
And we were all jamming. Everybody at that time at the DJ convention, you go to the hotels, and all the floors had rooms where people were jamming. You found all the main musicians in there, and Jimmy Martin and everybody just jamming together.
Yeah.
At these places. And I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I think Curtis had joined us in Savannah, Georgia. We played the Boar's Head. It was Boar's Head Cafe there, and the bar was called The Other End. So we were playing at the butt, I guess.
Yeah.
And anyhow, that's where we had heard about Curtis, and we told Curtis to meet us there.
Yeah, that's of course Curtis Birch you're talking about.
Right. He was living there. That's where he was from, down in Georgia.
Yeah.
And we had him meet us there, and when we got there to play this gig that week, and we told him, we like what you're doing. You're on, and we liked it. We really liked Curtis. We played down there, and that was, that's the way the band went until, just the 4 of us, I guess.
What about when did Courtney come in? No, he wasn't. No, I'm sorry.
Courtney came in.
Or was that
Sam? He came in after Sam. And Danny Jones left, and Sam took over the mandolin, and Danny was a good rhythm mandolin player. He hadn't really picked up a lot on the lead much.
Right.
Anything if it was rhythm, he could handle it.
Yeah.
He had a lot of rhythm stuff going for him.
Yeah, very good guy too. I got to play some gigs with him and hang out with him.
It certainly was a shame when he died.
I know it.
But in any case, Courtney came in, and I guess Lonnie knew him, and Sam really wanted to have him, and he was a different type of banjo player. He had the power and the drive that we needed, and it was felt. It was sort of a consensus that Buddy just, he, like I said, I think he had a light touch on the banjo. He could be heard in a microphone, but he didn't have to really push it.
Right.
He had lots of melody and stuff. Yeah. He was a Reno and some Scruggs, player, but he was good. I had no problem with Buddy's playing particularly, but we needed that punch.
Yeah.
We were working towards something. We had really a steady job, which most bands didn't have at that time.
Right.
And anyway, Courtney came in, and that sort of set the final manning of the Bluegrass Alliance, and then we got down there that DJ convention, and Sam just, I think it was Curtis told me, he said, we need to go up to Sam's room, and we went up to Sam's room, and Sam said, Ebo, he said, I just can't take Lonnie no more. And he and his wife Kathy were there.
Mm-hmm.
He just couldn't take it. He said he was going to quit. And I said, well, I looked at Courtney. I said, you feel the same way? And he said, yeah. And I looked at Curtis and I said, well, do you feel the same way? And he said, yeah.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to quit too then, and we'll just form our own band. And everybody was happy with that.
Yeah. Right.
So, we had to tell Lonnie, and Lonnie got really upset. We went back to Louisville, and I don't know about that time. I lived with Sam and Kathy for a little while, and Curtis lived in an apartment in the same apartment complex
Mm-hmm.
For a while. But we got together at Sam's apartment and decided what we were going to do. I mean, we really didn't have any idea when it first happened. When it first happened down there in Nashville, but it got back to Louisville, and I said, well, we got to do something here. We got to come up with a name.
Mm-hmm.
So I started thinking of words that could be put together and make a decent name.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was real satisfied with the name Newgrass Revival. Newgrass was I think that was like the last album that was cut by the Bluegrass Alliance. Had
that's right.
Had a picture of dirt on the album and a seed packet stuck up with Newgrass written on it.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, Newgrass, and we're for a lot of people, we're reviving Bluegrass. Bluegrass had a following, with a lot of college kids and stuff were picking up on it, and we wanted to bring something new. And we had a different feel. I picked a lot of the stuff, 110 Soldier and stuff like that. I picked. Everybody had a say in what we were doing right along. And
do you remember whose idea it was to play? Was it The Girl I Left Behind as part of that 10 Soldier? You mean?
Oh yeah. Well, I just thought that would be really good. I don't know, Sam might have. I don't know whether I just thought that was a good idea. I thought that really fit in on the end of it. Sam may have come up with the idea. I was really, supportive of that.
Yeah. Now, Lonnie was a lot older than the rest of you, wasn't he?
Yeah. I guess Courtney and I were pretty close to the same age, I think. Sam was the youngest, and until we get I guess Sam was the youngest all around.
Yeah.
Curtis was a little older than he was. Anyhow, we all kind of got along and just kind of fit together. It was like a family there.
Yeah.
We didn't have any problems with each other that I knew of.
Right.
And anyhow, we got back to Louisville, and we were listening to things. That's when I've been listening to Leon Russell, and I thought we could do Prince of Peace, and we needed some instrumental stuff that nobody was doing, and we needed to make it ours. And then listened to Vassar Clements and that Lonesome Fiddle Blues.
Mm-hmm.
And I suggested we do that and lead it off. I think that might have been the first thing we worked up as
and you did that
revival.
That bass riff, like doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, it was just something. I wanted to give what I wanted to do. The idea, as far as I was concerned, was to give everybody a chance to have a tune where everybody got a chance to just show off, do whatever he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to follow the melody. We could just go into what they call a breakdown, and and let Sam played both instruments. He played fiddle and mandolin. So we had a chance to do both.
Yeah.
Play both instruments in that.
Yeah.
That Prince of Peace as well, I think.
Yeah.
That was the idea, was to give everybody, give all of them. These guys were, fine instrumentalists, and they needed to be out there and show their stuff. So that was my idea, to get that started, so everybody could do that. And of course, Curtis Birch played all the instruments. He played banjo, he played dobro, he played fiddle. Mandolin. He could play any instrument. I saw him sit down with a bass, electric. When I was playing, by the time I got to electric bass, I saw him take my electric bass and sit down and play lead melodies on that thing.
Yeah.
So he was a fantastic musician. I think Courtney played piano. I'm not sure. I mean, he played guitar too. I think he was a piano player before he ever became a banjo player. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I just remember it being said that he was a piano player.
What was he? Courtney, was he from Kentucky too?
He lived down Horse Cave, around the Horse Cave area. I
don't really know where that is. What is it near?
Horse Cave. Well, it's just above Bowling Green.
Oh, okay.
It's Horse Cave is, I don't know, 25, 30, 45 miles, something like that from Bowling Green, maybe 50 miles.
Yeah.
Bowling Green's 125 miles from here, and it's about 60 miles to Cave City, and Horse Cave is just short. He lived over in Hiceville. I think he and his wife at that time lived on a farm in Hiceville.
Okay.
And he got a divorce, and he met Hazel, and they just sort of sat down together, I guess.
Yeah. Well, so if go back to the old, or the days with the Bluegrass Revival, I know you have some pretty good stories, just kind of funny stories, and that I like, maybe that would be kind of interesting to hear.
Well,
one time,
I guess there's a lot of them that shouldn't be told.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, everybody's got their own stories, I guess, and
yeah. Well, I think about the one down there where Lonnie was in the bathroom, and
we were on our way back. We went to we had a festival. We played this festival down in Louisiana, over in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time we had bus. That was a converted school bus. Courtney found somebody that had it, and we bought it. And it had 4 bunks and a couch. Couch was would be on the passenger side against a passenger wall, across from the driver, just behind the door. Just behind the driver was a fold-down table and some seats that were turned, so that they faced each other across that table. Behind that, we had 4 bunks. And then behind the bunks, at the very back of the truck, we had storage area for suitcases and instruments and stuff.
Right.
And anyway, we went down there and played this festival, and we weren't real sure exactly what was going to happen down there at the time, because here we were long-haired hippies, and we weren't sure that whether we were going to be accepted really well.
Oh, sure.
And we get in there and pulled in, and the sheriff's standing there waiting for us. And we didn't know what to think about that, really, but opened the door. I pulled up. I was driving. I pulled up, shut the bus off, and opened the door, stepped out, and the sheriff was standing right there. He stuck his hand out and said, "We've been waiting for you boys to get here." Said, "We've got everything taken care of. We got you a motel room over here, and we'll take you over to then one of my officers will take you over there and take you to the motel, and y'all can get cleaned up and everything, and come on back. They'll bring you back when you need to, and blah, 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 you know. And, I mean, they treat him just like royalty.
Yeah, that was not probably what you were expecting when he was sticking his head into this bus, you know.
Not really, not really. You know, we figured we didn't figure on being that progressive. But anyhow, we played that festival, and we started driving back. We went up through Memphis, up 55 there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, we were up somewhere around Jackson, I guess.
Yeah.
And pulled off in the middle of the night there at a filling station to get gas.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I was driving. Got the gas and went to the bathroom and came back out. Got on the bus. I said, everybody in? Yeah, everybody's here. We all in, and we was ready to go. So I started the bus up. We pulled off. When I started up the road, and it wasn't too long. Somebody said, "Where's Lonnie?" I mean, we weren't that far up the road, but we were a few miles, maybe 10, 15 miles up the road. Where's Lonnie? Right. Oh my God, we left Lonnie in the filling station. We turned around, went back down there, and sure enough, he'd been left in the filling station in the bathroom. And the guy there in the bathroom said, well, he came out and got a ride with somebody, and he started hitchhiking and got a ride with somebody. I guess he was trying to catch the bus. And when we turned around to go get him, you know, to go back for him, he must have caught up with where we were and passed us going on up north. So he hitchhiked all the way back to Louisville. And,
the same guy drove it all the way to Louisville. The same guy.
No, I think he found somebody. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he did use the same guy. I think he may have paid the guy to take him on home.
That's an enormous. I mean,
he swore that I did that to him. That, you know, that I was. I don't know. Lonnie had a grudge out for me. He didn't. I don't think he liked me all that much.
Right.
He told some stories, and he tried to at one point get me and Sam crossways, and that didn't work out. But in any case, after we came to Louisville, the first place we played, my brother had a place called the Mason's Jar up on Bardstown Road.
Okay.
And we just sort of used that as our home base.
Yeah.
We had a place to play anytime we were in town.
Yeah.
And we had a good following. The club would fill up.
Yeah.
It was a good job. A little small club, but it wasn't too small, and I had enough room that we had good crowds in there. So we had a place to feel our material, work out new material there.
Right. I was gonna see how, like, back in the days with Lonnie Pierce, do you think if because of his age, he felt like he was sort of a little bit of a boss man? Or
I really don't know what Lonnie thought. Lonnie was a con man in a way. He wasn't real straight. Lonnie was a wallpaper hanger. He did wallpaper. He hung wallpaper.
Okay.
And fiddling was just something he did on the side.
Okay.
And the band gave 4 or 5 musicians, depending on how many were there at the time. A place, we work as musicians and really, get out there and try to do something with the music. I don't know, we had, Lonnie was a source of musicians. I mean, he knew a lot of fiddle players and stuff, and that brought, like Art Stamper would come around.
Okay.
I always liked Art. Art was a little overbearing.
Yeah, but he was good, And
he was a hell of a fiddle player.
Yeah, he was. Stamper knew more tunes than anybody, I swear.
Yeah.
I've never met anybody play.
Yeah,
play
he was something else. And what surprised me is when I found out he was a hairdresser.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, yeah.
Anyhow, go ahead.
Well, I just remember playing some with the art up there at the Monroe's homestead there, where they used to do the Jerusalem Bridge Bluegrass Festival.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Stanford, he's from Kentucky too. What town?
I'm not really sure. His son's around here someplace.
Shepherdsville or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, he was good. Any other fiddle? You mean you at some point you played with Vassar, didn't you? Or didn't you tour with him? Or
no, we didn't. We used to back Vassar was, he liked Sam and us, and he would come and get us to back him on various festivals.
Okay.
When Vassar never really traveled with a band, I don't think. No. He just went and played with various people.
Yeah.
And if we were there, he would come get us to back him.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. We were young and we were getting out there and doing something and making a name for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I remember pulling into Camp Springs one year, and Butch Robbins came. I think it was Butch Robbins came to the. I don't remember now whether it was Butch or who it was. May have been John Caparakis. I know Caparakis was involved in this. Involved in what we're getting ready to talk about right now. But Kenny Baker was looking for us. He knew we were going to be there, and he wanted to cut a fiddle album.
Yeah.
He wanted us to come over and cut this fiddle album with him. It turned out to be Baker's Dozen.
Yeah, it's a great album.
And we went over to this motel, and they had one of these 2-track, as a German. They said it was one of the best portable recorders you could get.
Okay.
And 2 guys there with the mics and stands and this tape recorder, and we took chairs and the mattress off the bed and stuff, and made baffles for different things, and we cut that whole thing in one afternoon during that hotel down in Camp Springs. Yeah,
that is amazing. That is amazing. So the nearest hotel would be in maybe Reedsville or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty cool story. I've heard that album a million times.
I've not had a chance much to listen to it. There's a copy here. I'm not sure whether it's my copy or whether it's my brother's. Because when I had my little problem, I left everything with him, and he got all the records that I had at the time as part of his collection. And I just kind of left them there. I know he's got one copy of that. I don't know whether he bought it or whether I brought it and gave it to him or what. But, interesting thing, I was talking about the kid complimenting me on my thing there, and I don't know I should tell this or not, but Kenny Baker's, I've talked with Kenny Baker's daughter. He was his adopted daughter, and I don't know, she called me up one day and we talked, and I haven't talked to her for a while now, but she would call every so often, and I'd call down there and talk to her, and we struck up a good friendship, and
right.
And she told me that she was trying to get Kenny Baker on a stamp. She was behind the Monroe thing. Behind the Monroe thing, I think, trying to get Bill Monroe on a stamp and Kenny. And she sent me some stuff like that. And she told me that Kenny complimented me and said I was one of the best bass players he'd ever worked with.
Yeah. Well, he meant it. Baker was not like just going to say things to make people feel good,
Right. Well, I didn't know it. I mean, Kenny Kenny was in his grave by the time she told me. I never knew that he felt that way about me.
Yeah.
And at the time, you know, I was just doing my best. I think I won an award one year as the most promising bass player in Springs.
Yeah. Well, you're the groove man, you know.
I guess.
Yeah. Are you doing any playing these days?
I'm not doing a thing, Lonnie. Lonnie. Jan, I probably haven't picked up a bass maybe one time in the last year. I just, you know, I've been fooling with other things, trying to do other things, trying to get my own private life back together.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just been I don't know. I just kind of gave up. I've had a romance going for a number of years, and that's kind of fallen apart, and for various reasons. And
sure.
Anyhow, I just haven't been playing at all. I played around here for a bit. Matt Phelps, a really fine guitar player.
Oh, absolutely. Very good. Very good.
He's sort of he studied Tony Rice and.
Oh yeah, you remember you and Matt came and spent the weekend with me.
Yeah, that's right. And
oh, he's a great player. I really enjoyed his music.
I haven't talked to him for a little while, and I've been meaning to call him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing. He's had several jobs. He was working as the last thing I heard, I think, is he was going back to working as an X-ray technician because he had credentials in that.
Oh, really?
He's been playing with a band called No Tools Loaned or something like that out of Lexington.
Oh, okay.
He goes down and plays with them, and he's played with several bands around here.
Yeah.
Put together bands, and I started trying to put some stuff together. I put together a couple of bands just for special dates. Had Aaron Beeblehauser on the banjo. He's an up and comer, great musician. He and his brother have two bands. One's called Relic. That's the bluegrass band. And he's got a country music band called the Beeblehauser Brothers Band.
Okay.
And he plays everything. He's taught himself to play steel guitar. He's got an old antique. I guess it's a one neck, and then doesn't have two or three necks on it. He's got one neck, but it's on a stand. It's a early pedal steel. He's a fantastic banjo player. Lots of stuff. He's a composer, songwriter.
Yeah.
He sings lead and tenor. Got a great voice. Plays. I know he plays banjo and guitar. I suppose he probably can play other instruments. He was a piano player for years and does a great job on piano. So, you know, I mean, I had him. I had Matt and I played together for a couple of years just as a duo.
Yeah.
And then
didn't Mike Cleveland play some with you?
Mike Cleveland was playing was playing mandolin and fiddle with me some. Yeah. And then I got Jeff Guernsey.
Yep.
Jeff came. We did some gigs with Jeff Guernsey on the mandolin and Mike on the fiddle. And it was a really great band. I mean, we put down some nice music.
Yeah.
Had a couple other people at times.
And you played a wedding here in North Carolina.
Yeah, we did that.
And you played at the Art Center in Chapel Hill with a bunch of people there.
Right, we did that. We played that. I came down there. We played that home concert thing that you did.
Oh yeah, with Danny Gotham and Dewey Elkins.
Yeah.
Tony Williamson was in one song, I think.
Right.
Yeah, That was a good time. Scott McBride was there.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It was good night. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all the music that I played down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wanted to get back down there and do some recording.
Yeah.
It didn't work out that way at that time.
Yeah, but now it'd probably be a little more peaceful, you know.
It might be, yeah.
Well,
if I can ever I got to get my finances straightened out here.
That's right.
I'm not doing anything. I'm living off of what I, get from the government every month, my Social Security.
Yeah.
And I wrecked my Blazer course down there. You knew about that. And then I had an accident up here and wiped out my Toyota.
What are you driving now?
I'm driving a Volkswagen. It's a station wagon, Jetta station wagon.
Oh, okay.
And it's a good car. When it was new, it was absolute top of the line. It's got every, I think it's got every option on it you could get. It's got the VR6 engine in it. It just needs some work, and I couldn't trust it out on the highway. I trust it around town because I know I can always call somebody close.
Yeah.
But as you know, if I can ever get the money together to fix that and get some debts paid off here, I'd like to come back down there, maybe get something going down there.
Yeah, I wish you would.
So I met a lot of good and a lot of good musicians down there.
Yeah.
I was really sorry to hear about. Now I've got a name block and I shouldn't do that. The banjo player, Indian. He was Indian or part Indian. Played for Monroe.
A banjo player from Monroe.
Yeah, well, he was in North Carolina.
Tony Ellis.
No. Older fella.
I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I know who he is, and they had an article about him in Bluegrass Unlimited here a month or so ago. Huh?
I can't think of who he is.
Oh heck. He was an old timer, like back from the Scruggs era and everything. I think he played with Monroe at some point.
I feel like an idiot. I have no idea.
Well, I do too, because I can't get his name out. Everybody will know who he is, except the two of us.
Yeah.
If this gets to the air. But
well, we'll have to come back to that. Hey, could we take a short break? I need to get something to drink. Is that okay?
Go ahead. Call me back.
Yep. Okay. All right.
All right.
See you in a little bit. Yep.
Bye-bye.